can do it. You can go create. Just get to it. I promise you'll feel great. Because life can get ugly, and art sure can too. What matters is to do it. Let those feelings flow through you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ugly Podcast. I'm so glad that you continue to show up and hang out with me every month. I'm really grateful for listeners who keep coming back. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. My name is Laura Alexander. I use they, them pronouns. And today I am wearing what am I wearing? My Art is Vital for Survival t-shirt. Shout out to Alyssa who designed this, as well as a button-up white and blue striped shirt. As usual, I am your white androgynous curly haired weirdo with big round glasses. Today, my guest, I'm so excited to introduce you to, is a systems and self-care witch who builds intentional systems for neurodivergent creatives who want to feel proud, successful, and get shit done. She makes Notion templates and custom workspaces that are a launch pad to helping you cross the finish line on your projects and goals. Thank you so much for being here. Could you please introduce yourself with your name, your pronouns, and a brief visual description?
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. I am Brigitte, she, her, and I'm a white femme. I've got some very long brown into, I think right now it's like pink into reddish orange hair, which changes often, but that's what we've got today. And I've got my favorite pink lipstick on and a long sleeve black shirt.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thanks.
We were introduced because you attended my field trip through Creative Mornings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So, and as well, my guest last month, that's how I met them as well. And basically, like, I just did a blanket, like, anybody who resonated with the workshop that I did and wanted to follow up with me and stay in touch, I just kind of did a blanket invite. I'm like, if any of you want to come on the podcast, I love just like chatting. and so you took me up on that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought that was really great. I was going to respond anyway, just because I got so much out of the workshop itself. So I just wanted to say, like, hey, this is amazing. And then you had that call in there to be on the podcast. And I was like, wow, I think this invitation is for me. Let's do it.
Yes, it definitely was for you. So yay. Wonderful. I'd love to just kind of jump in and like tell us kind of your relationship to creativity. If your relationship to your creativity had like a story arc throughout your life, what would that be? If there are any like tropes that are involved, what would those be?
Yeah, I think so. I think like a story arc, just that makes it sound so cool to me. I'm like, oh, this is dope. This is like, I I don't know, like that. It makes it feel way more exciting than actually me like thinking about what it has been. Because these tropes in
Mhm.
here have been something that I for sure have been working on for a long time. But I have always, since I was little, had this just kind of like pull inside of me that I want to be an artist. I want to make art. I want to create things. And that started for me when I was really, really little. Like up until kindergarten, we lived with my grandparents, and my grandpa was always taking art classes. He was drawing, painting. He did some like wood sculpture. He played the piano. So,
Oh,
like, I
I love
just,
that.
yeah, he also took American Sign Language, so I grew up learning like baby signs, and so it was just a very like creative, I guess, environment to grow up in and to be around, even like as a child. But I had this thing in my head, and also I was comparing myself to like another person in my life and their story, and I felt like nothing that I made was good enough, and I felt like if I wasn't just immediately, innately an expert at it, that
Mhm.
that I couldn't do it or it wasn't for me. I would like look at these other people and be like, oh, that's for them, it's not for me. And that's so sad to me, like looking back now, but like that's what I then just like carried with me. And
Mhm.
so um I but I just like always had that feeling inside of me that like this is what I want to do, but I felt like I couldn't do it. And so I just took like your regular art classes in school. When I got to high school, art didn't fit in my schedule. And it also didn't fit in my mind. I was still telling myself I couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
Um, oh, but also I did do band.
Mm.
So I started playing the trumpet in fifth grade.
I love
And
band kids.
oh my God.
I wasn't a band kid myself, but I had a lot of friends in band, and I love band kids. They're so great.
Oh wow, thanks. I think I think this is so funny though, because like as I'm thinking about it, I don't think I thought of band as like a creative endeavor.
Yeah.
Um, However, looking back now, I'm like, oh, that was the creative, like artistic expression that I needed and like helped me to get through really challenging things.
Mhm.
But I think that I was looking so hard for like art to look and be a certain way, and I
Yeah.
wasn't doing that. So I kind of like was discounting everything else.
Mhm.
Um and so I I would just like doodle and things here and there. Going into college, I wanted to study art, like I wanted to go to art school, but still the same thing held me back, so I didn't do it.
Mhm.
And but I was always there like doodling through all of my class notes or like on my whiteboards as I got a degree in math and statistics, so I had to do a ton of math. And but I was always writing like little doodles to go along with like the math equations.
I love that. That's so
um
nerdy and cute. I love it. Oh my god.
it's so nerdy. Oh my god, I'll have to
Oh, it's
send.
great.
Yeah, I'll send you some after so you can see them.
Oh,
I'm
please
sure I
do.
have pictures of them. um but so I was like kind of doing these things on the side to like kind of keep that alive. But I think what really changed for me was in 2020 my aunt gifted me The Artist's Way, and I
Mm.
think that that program really started like cracking things open in the like perfectionism and feeling like it has to look a certain way and be a certain way. And I found my, I guess, like creative expression that I had wanted so badly through like drawing. I found it through writing, which was another thing that I had been telling myself that I couldn't do
Mm.
for a long time. But those, what are they called? The morning pages,
Yeah.
um, just completely changed things for me, like enabling me to free write and to start writing things messily. It didn't have to be like a perfectly completed novel, and
Yeah.
it didn't have to even be legible. And I like these things were like revelations for me. And so that has now led me into this practice of allowing myself to be a beginner at things, to be bad at something at first. That's the whole purpose, right? Of like learning how to do something.
Yeah.
Um, and then like thinking of the thing of like everyone starts out somewhere, and even people who are super great at things like pro athletes or like artists, you're still taking classes, you're doing training, you're practicing, you're
Mhm.
like everybody is working at the thing. And so like really, I guess, allowing myself to practice those things in my creativity now, and to start, I think I'm now starting to see myself as an artist,
Mhm.
even after this whole like lifetime of almost 40 years of creating. But now I'm finally starting to see what it has looked like and not what I think that I thought it should look like.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's like the real picture instead of what's in your head.
Yeah. And that's a
Yeah.
trip.
Mhm. It absolutely is.
Ugh.
Man, the artist way is just so good. Like, I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed on this podcast that are like, "Oh yeah, the artist way." Like, it brought me so just so many good experiences, gave me so much good perspective, gave me such a good practice, got me out of my head, made me realize that like I was limiting myself by all of these beliefs and just helped me start to live a creative life. Man, just the artist way is so
Yeah.
good.
And like, and how funny is this too? When my aunt gifted it to me, I just thought it was a book. I didn't
Mhm.
realize that it was this full, like, very intense program to work through. And so
Yeah.
when I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna read through it like real fast. I'm just gonna breeze through all of the things. It's not gonna take me 12 weeks. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't need all of that. And then I quickly started to realize, like, oh shit, no, it's set up like this for a reason, and this is something I'm going to keep chipping away at, like, over time. um but yeah, the morning pages have totally inspired now my morning practice that I do every single morning, and it's been
Mhm.
5 years. But that's what I do. For I journal, I just free write, I dump all of the crazy wild shit in my brain out, and like, that's my practice. And then it's also my practice for when I guess, like, when I'm sitting down to do work or like another creative endeavor, and especially if I feel like I like can't get started on something,
Mhm.
I'm like, well, I know I can sit down and just like jam on my keyboard until
Yeah.
something like comes out, and then it like gets me going. So
Yeah.
like, holy crap, what a cool tool.
Yeah. It's so good. That's how I feel about like that's how I use ugly art as my tool of
Mm.
like when I'm stuck and I don't know where to start. I'm like, well, I'm going to start with ugly and then we'll see where ugly takes us. Like ugly might not end up ugly, but it's where we're going to start so that we can get going.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's good too. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I was just thinking like my brain, so I grew up really religious and like I in my brain just now I was like, what if the artist's way could be like a Bible? And like what if
Mm.
everybody did the artist's way? Like what would our world look like today if everybody and then my brain's just like wants to go into like take over the world with the artist's way and like get everybody to think differently, expand their horizons.
Yeah, I do think that about a lot of things. I think like yeah, like more compassionate thinking and like nonviolent
Mhm.
communication, and just like,
Yeah.
yeah, if people actually like listened to each other and supported each other and felt like they could be a full expression of themselves, like, how different would this
Mhm.
look?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Truly. Ugh. More curiosity about the
Hmm.
world, less like judgment and like knowing. It's like, no, you don't know. You don't know. Go be curious. Okay, anyway. Um,
None of us
um
know. Nobody knows.
nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Nobody
And that's okay.
knows.
What do you find most helpful in keeping consistent with your art practice?
I think that for me, as a neurodivergent person, I have ADHD, and I'm more recently pursuing an autism diagnosis. So that's also a new thing for me. But just like, the more I learn about, I guess, myself and the ways that I show up in this world, and especially with things like the word consistency,
Mm-hmm.
I have to, I guess, remember and accept that these are things that I have to redefine for myself, and make sure that like I know what it means to me. So like, in
Mm-hmm.
my head I might have that story of like, oh, consistency means this very specific thing, like doing this same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's what like I have held on to for a long time. But with the ADHD, I'm like, oh no, when I'm done with something, I am done. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
am done with it. But I think that this is possibly where like the autism comes in. I'm realizing I have a really, really hard time with change.
Mm.
And so I might know that I'm like done with something, but I'll keep doing it because that change is hard.
Mhm.
Or I will quit doing it because I'm done. And then I just won't do anything. And then I'll be beating myself up in my head because I'm like, I'm not doing the thing, but I don't know what else to do. And I don't know how, like,
Mhm.
and so when I'm noticing, like, okay, when those things start happening, when I'm having difficulties, like keeping up with something, I have to like first to remember my definition of the word and what it means to me and know that like I can change up the practice or do something completely different. And that doesn't mean I'm not being consistent. It just means I'm being consistent in a way that works for me.
Mhm.
But when I start to have a hard time changing it up, that's when I know through a lot of experimenting and practice that I need to call in reinforcements. Like I need to ask for help.
Mhm.
And so that's when like certain things that work really well for me are either having an accountability partner that I can check in and be like, hey, I want to do this practice and this is when I want to do it. I'm going to check in with you when I do it or like after I do it or whatever it is that we kind of like agree on.
Mhm.
Um, but the other one that works so well for me is that I'm a great student. If you give me a class that I have to go to, I got to pay for it. It's on a specific
Mhm.
schedule. I'm like, I am there. And so like that is a container that works really well for me.
Mhm.
So I know that like when I know I need to change things up or be consistent in a different way, or I'm not being consistent in the way that I want to, I gotta like lean into those things. Even if it feels hard to reach out, I know from practicing that that's what I need and it's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that really hard. I didn't realize until you said it, but like that difficulty with change, I resonate so hard with
It's
that.
so hard.
It's really hard, and I think one thing I'm noticing is like I am really struggling with I mean, so many things have changed in my life over the past like 6 months alone, um, and I'm struggling finding those like routines that I had when I
Mm,
was living on my own. Um, Having them now in a space where I live with another person who's my best friend and I want to be around all the time. And then integrating like my same routines, like that feels weird. But then I'm wanting the consistency, but there's all these other changes happening, like house renovations and like all
oh,
these like changes in my business. And so then my art practice has just I've had such a hard time finding it and being stable with it while there's change all around me all the time. It's a lot.
that is a lot. That is a lot. And I mean, honestly, I think that maybe people don't talk about this as much as we should, but that like I know often like my other friend and I will talk about this that like we think that something is hard, but then we think like it shouldn't be hard. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it shouldn't be that hard to like sit
Mhm.
down and doodle, like, or it shouldn't be, but like it is hard. Like
Mhm.
it is hard living in
Right.
this world that's going on around us. Like it is hard, and so um yeah, that's where I find like it's really helpful. Like I especially wanted to start tapping into drawing. I want to like
Mm.
that's one of my goals this year. I'm like I want to embody this archetype. I want to draw more. And I was doing it a little bit like here and there I was doing it, but I was like I'm not doing it in the way that like feels good. And
Mm.
so I found a local art class, like a basic drawing class to go to. And that also scared the shit out of me because like I'm going somewhere new with people I don't know. This
Yeah.
class is 3 hours long, like for
Oh,
4 weeks.
wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to sit in a chair for that long.
Yeah.
Like, um, but I was like, I'm gonna try it anyway and see
Mhm.
what happens.
Amazing. Have you gone to has it started yet?
I already did it, and
Oh, you already did it.
yeah, I
How'd it
already did
go?
it. It went really well. It went, like,
Yeah.
really well. Yeah. And it, like, I did the 4-week class, and then there was a break, and I've started another one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I
Um,
love that.
I mean, like, I feel awkward sitting there in, like, a group of people that I don't know, but everybody's pretty chill and, like, you can do whatever you want, so I can get up and leave the room and walk around if I want. Like, I don't feel like
Mhm.
I have to, like I think I haven't taken maybe a class where I've had to, like, sit down like this since, like, college, and so that
Yeah.
was in my head of, like, I have to sit in a seat and not move, and that's just not gonna work for me.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, yeah, it's very chill in that way. But I'm learning new techniques, and that's what I was looking to expand my vocabulary in drawing so that I am able to tap more into um, that like creative expression through drawing,
Mhm.
which I've had inside me for so long that I've found through writing, but I'm like, I want to do it through drawing. And so
Mhm.
I thought, well, I expanded my vocabulary in writing to be able to express myself and my like, how do I want to say, like my emotional vocabulary, maybe doing
Yeah.
like a fuck ton of mental health work over these past 5 years too. And so I've expanded that so I'm able to express myself in that way. So I was like, oh, well, I guess it makes sense to learn drawing techniques so then I'm able to express myself through that as well.
Yeah. I love that. I was gonna mention this at the top of the episode, but I forgot. But I love that you're the third neurodivergence like systems coach that I've had on within like the past 6 months. I love that y'all are drawn to me somehow. And I'm like, yes, like I consider myself neurodivergent. I was like most people around me are neurodivergent, and I love how our brains work. And so I love coming across people who are like, yes, our brains are spicy and great and they work differently, and that's okay and that's wonderful, and here's how we can like work with our brains to navigate the worlds while still having our silly little brains, you know.
For sure. Yeah. I think I thought that was great when you told me that over email. I'm like, I am really invested now in this journey for you. Like, and I'm like, I really want to know like how this turns out. But yeah, I guess, like that like attracts like, and
Mhm.
it just feels, I guess, like resonant.
Yeah.
And that's like in my business where I've found kind of like my happy place is working with other people that are also neurodivergent because it just feels like we get each other more or we get like how to show up, yeah, in the world in different ways and to make things that work for us and to do things in ways that like work for us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I've been so I had on Friday I was talking to, or I guess it was Thursday, I was talking to my accountability buddy, and I'm kind of in an in between right now between editing projects, and so I'm like, okay, I have some time to focus on like my other business stuff, and I'm like, I need to put a system in place. I need to reevaluate and put a system in place, and it's been so daunting. So we might need to chat after this, but but I'm just glad you're here. And speaking of like systems, a lot of people, well, maybe, I don't know about a lot, but some people might kind of consider systems and processes counter to a
Mm.
creative nature or a creative life. They might think that those things don't go hand in hand. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think like systems and the word structure, I think that can
Yeah.
sound scary. Yeah. To people, I was one of those people. I was
Mm,
like, hell nah, I don't want like a full. I guess I'm thinking like a scheduled out, really strict. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want the freedom, right? This is why I have my
mm-hmm.
own business. I want the freedom to do what I want when I want.
Yeah.
And with creativity too, right? Like I want to show up and I want to do what feels good that day in that moment. And but what I realized is that it is helpful to at least have some kind of structure or system or process, like whatever you want to call it. I think it's all interchangeable.
Mhm.
Um, that having that container to like be within or to work within actually, I think, creates more freedom, and it creates more like the ability to generate more ideas, which is actually, I took a while ago another creative mornings class from Christine Garvey of A Mighty Practice. And the class was on like how to generate ideas for creativity. And she
Mhm.
talked about, she called them enabling constraints. And
Ooh, I like that term.
yeah, so
Enabling constraints.
her exercise was to choose like 3 of these constraints to enable you to work within. So if it's like if you're going to sit down and draw, maybe your constraints are that you're using an 8 by 10 piece of paper, you're only using a pencil, and you're only drawing squiggly lines.
Mhm.
And that's your like thing. Now go at it and see what happens.
Yeah.
um and after taking that class, I think it was wild to me because I made that, I guess, connection from that creative artistic expression to that in my business, and like working within my business, or kind of like any kind of container or structure.
Mhm.
That I was like, if I don't have a container, um, then everything, like there are so many possibilities. You want to know what I want to do or create or make or like do in my business or do as a hobby, or like I want to do a million things.
Oh yeah.
And if you're just like, well, here, Bridget, here's your free time, go at it. I'm overwhelmed. I can't choose. Like, how do you want me to prioritize that? I don't know. My brain does not know how to do that.
Yeah.
And so then that's where I get like stuck or frozen or end up not creating or not doing the thing.
Mhm.
And um and then I'll also end up thinking like, oh, I don't have any good ideas because I feel like
Mhm.
I can't pick just like one thing and run with it because there's just too much.
Yeah.
And so when you have that like supportive structure that you can work within, then like I'm like, oh, then I can show up and do what I want to do and actually get the things done that I want to get done.
Yeah. I really like that. I I'm a big fan of this enabling constraints concept. I've
Yeah,
never heard that term and I really like it.
it's good.
It's it's good. It's real. I mean, it reminds me like that's it reminds me of what I've been doing with like the ugly art practice of like I don't know where to start. And like there's too much. There's too many ideas and then too many,
Hmm.
limiting beliefs on top of all of the ideas. And
Yes.
so starting like creating the container like okay, I'm going to like in the past I've made rules for myself like I'm going to grab the closest thing around me that is able to be drawn on, in which case it was like a napkin. So it was like I grabbed a napkin, I can only draw on this napkin, and like I'm going to fold the napkin and then I'm going to draw on top of that, and like that's going to be my medium. And so like limiting myself in what I was able to create in that moment enabled me to create. um I really like this. My brain is like going a million miles an hour at the moment.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think like you'll know like from taking that class that you taught, and it was about just like, right, like just start creating something ugly, see where it takes you. I think
Mhm.
you can say that for like any practice, right? If you've got these constraints, you're able to get started. And I
Yeah.
think like that's another thing for neurodivergent people, like transitions and getting started on things is really, really challenging.
Yeah.
And so if you have like a small little structure to be like, hey, this is how I get started. Like for me, like
Mhm.
if I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a newsletter or a blog post or start scripting a YouTube video, how do I get started? My very first step is to free write. And that is
Mhm.
like baked into my thing. And so it's like, it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm actually working on, but I know it'll get me moving and
Yeah.
like get me going and take me into what I'm doing. And I think that like that's what doing your like little ugly art doodles kind of felt like, right? Because it's like just start moving your pen, whatever, like making something, and then see where it takes you. And like in that class, I drew what I thought was the funniest little stick figure cat. I was like, what would a tiny little child draw? Like, can I draw something like that? And it ended up being one of my most favorite things like ever. And that brought so much joy out of trying to just draw something ridiculous, ugly that, you know,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I loved your cat. You sent me a picture of it, and it's delightful. It's the best. So good. Well, speaking of creating a container, should we create an enabling container right now for
Ooh,
our
let's do
ASMR
it.
together?
Yeah.
Before we started, I rolled. So I have this color randomizer that my friend gave me. They just like painted a bunch of like wood blocks and
Okay.
they just become color dye. So I rolled them before we started and ended up with these three colors: turquoise, green, and red.
Nice.
So those are the colors I'm going to be doing. You're welcome to use whatever colors you have around, or I can roll the dice for you if you'd like your own.
All right. Well, this is interesting to me. So I don't usually do colors. I usually just do
Okay.
pencil,
That's
but I do have colors and I'm open to fucking around and finding out.
Okay.
So
Whatever feels comfortable for you.
would you roll me some colors, please?
I'd be happy to roll you some colors. How many would you like? 2,
Um
3, 4.
three feels good.
All right. All right. You got turquoise,
Okay.
pink, and like a lime green.
Okay. Got it.
That's very cute. That's very springy.
Yeah.
I love it. Are there any other constraints you'd like to put on this little ugly art time we're doing?
I honestly, the first thing that popped into my head was just the word bunnies. I
Ooh.
love bunnies, and I love this springtime of year because bunnies are just out in stores everywhere. And
Yeah.
I recently got the biggest bunny Peep, like stuffed animal. I think you can kind of see it in the background. It
Oh
is
yeah.
fucking huge. And I got that for my 37th birthday this year. And it's ridiculous and very joyful. So yeah, I don't know, something with bunnies. Or how about or is bunnies too niche? What about just like ears, like something with ears?
Oh boy. I mean, I do like the bunnies idea,
Okay.
but
Ugly
if you want,
bunnies.
we can do ugly bunnies or we can do ugly ears. Let's go with bunnies. I thought that was fun. All right, ugly bunnies with the colors that we've rolled for ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. And I know sometimes it's kind of hard to chat while you're drawing. So what we can do is we can either kind of, I'll set a timer for like 5 minutes. We can draw and kind of be quiet, and then that part, we'll just like cut out for sound and whatnot. And then we'll come back. Or if you are okay talking while drawing, we can do that as well. Is there something that feels more comfortable?
Let's try talking and drawing because I think that it's likely we're going to be sitting here laughing and I just kind of want to see what happens. I can't even sharpen my pencil. It keeps breaking.
Oh,
no. Well, if this one doesn't work, I've got the other two.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's see. My animals usually end up really funny when I don't have a photo reference, and it's kind of my favorite thing. The first time I noticed this was like when I tried to draw a... Oh, that's actually not too bad. I tried to draw a whale, and I realized, I was like, I don't know what a whale looks like. My inner eye has no clue what a whale looks like. Uh, so I think it's
Oh,
quite silly.
the only bunnies that I have like directly in front of me are Peeps, and that's a very specific kind of bunny. So I'm just gonna see. I love the idea that like this is gonna be an ugly bunny because then that feels like it gives me more freedom to
Yeah.
just to try things.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise I'm like, I'm trying to draw the most perfect bunny you've ever seen. And
Yeah,
this
that's,
isn't it, but maybe it actually is.
I
Do
think,
bunnies have whiskers?
oh, yes, they do.
Do they? Because mine does.
I think they do. I'm pretty sure. Um,
Oh,
yeah. I
this
think
looks
what,
sorry.
no, you're good. I think I gave mine a beak. I like tried to give it a little like I tried to give it like because their noses are kind of triangle-y, but that just ended up looking like a beak. That's
I think mine looks like a mouse cat bunny.
okay. Oh, yes. I love this.
This is good. I love that you suggested this. I wasn't expecting it, and then I was like, "That what a delightful idea."
I didn't think about it for so long, and then like so I used to, my kind of standard question at the end of this was like, what was the last ugly thing that you made? And then some people, like depending on who I brought on to the podcast, were just like, oh gosh, like I don't know. And like some people had like great answers and stuff, but sometimes people were just like, I can't think of anything. And I was like, why don't we make like your most recent ugly thing that you made something you made here with me?
You make it
and
right
so
now. Yeah.
and so I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I actually when I took that first run of this local art class, can I answer that question now?
Yeah, go for it. Whatever you want.
Okay. Um I so it's like a realistic drawing class, and that's,
Hmm.
I'm used to drawing like little stick figures and cartoony looking things, like not like a realistic thing. And so he said to bring in photographs of like take some photographs of something that you might want to draw, like your cat. And I was like, I am going way outside my comfort zone just to like take this class in the first place. And
Hmm.
I'm going to allow myself to be a beginner and draw something bad. I'm like, Bridget, this does not have to turn out good. And I was like, so I don't want to draw my cats. I was like, I don't want to
Hmm.
draw anything of my life because if I fuck it up real bad, I don't want to be like upset about it.
Right.
And he thought that that was like a really interesting, I don't know, had like nobody ever come to class and said that before. Like,
Right.
but I went in and I took some images off of Unsplash. So
Hmm.
just some like royalty free images. And I ended up drawing this up close chickadee that I have as my computer desktop
Uh-huh.
because I'm obsessed with birds. And I fully gave myself that permission of like, I'm going to let this be ugly. It's not anything that's actually part of my life, so I can let it be ugly. And I drew the cutest fucking thing I've ever drawn.
Ah,
Like, it turned out so good. I was like,
yeah.
this is going to be bad, and that's okay. And I went into it like that, of like low pressure. And I super impressed myself.
Hmm.
It was wild.
Yeah. I love what that it just opens up the possibility when you like literally people get confused sometimes because like I'll be like I'll share something and I'll be like, God, I love ugly art so much. And they're like, this isn't ugly. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand. Like, I started it off by saying, this is allowed to be ugly. And in
Hmm.
doing so, I allowed myself to start. And then you start and it can be ugly. You can, like, sometimes I'll challenge myself to make something more ugly if that sounds fun to me. But sometimes I'm like, ooh, this is starting to look really good. I like where this is going. And then I'm able to keep going, and it ends up being something really cool. I did a similar thing with like, I wanted to play around with my watercolors and make like a crab. And I found this really vibrant picture of a crab, and I was just like kind of using watercolor to replicate that image, and it ended up really cool. And I like sent it to a friend, and I was like, look what ugly art like helped me make. And they were like, this isn't ugly. And I was like, no, I know it's not, but like it helped me get started. Anyway.
Yeah, the process of ugly. See, the ugly art is the container. That's the
Yes.
structure. That's the process, the system.
That's the
ugly
enabling
art system.
constraint. Exactly.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait to show you these.
I love this. This one's gonna be a vampire bunny.
Ooh, I like that. I just gave this one some eyelashes.
Oh yes, fancy bunny.
Fancy bunny. Oh my god, this one's so funny. Oh, I was like, I'm gonna give this one 2 front teeth, and that is ugly. This bunny is ugly. And that's what we wanted.
And that's what we wanted. Delightful. I've got quite a few different bunnies going, and I like it.
This bunny has a tail directly on the side of its body and no arms.
Perfect. I'm just gonna draw a bunny butt.
Oh, that's good. My birthday was on Saturday, and a bunny came and had snacks in my garden, and I was like, what a wonderful birthday present to me. Thank you, little bunny.
That's so sweet.
Very cute.
I love it. All right, let's call that time.
Oh, okay. I almost just started another one.
Okay, because I just ran out of space, so we'll just call that time. All right, let me move this so I can see my own thing. Okay, so these are my bunnies.
Oh, I love the vampire bunny.
Yeah, the vampire bunny's up there. Here's the butt.
That's the butt. Oh.
This one I was really like. This is how I would draw bunnies when I was oh no, it was this one. This is how I draw bunnies as a kid, with like this, like the big, like chubby cheeks out to here, and then yeah, with the little sticky arms. Yeah.
I like the one peeking in from the side, that red one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. The one that like looks kind of, I don't know what it looks more like a, I don't know what it looks like a rat, I don't know, or some kind of mouse. I don't know, but it's a bunny, damn it.
Oh God, I love it. Okay, are you ready for these?
Yes.
I wonder if I can show that. Okay. The pink one is the really ugly one. Look how ugly it is. Look at its teeth.
I love its stumpy little arm.
No, that's the tail.
Oh, that's the tail.
No arms. No arms.
That's right. There's no arms. Only the tail.
And this is the one I drew first, and I really like it.
That one's haunted.
Yeah, and then I gave this one the same eyes, and then that one got the eyelashes.
But eyelashes so fancy, yes.
Yeah, I really like
the ears.
This.
Look like I love the like bow ears on that one. I really love it. So good.
How delightful!
Always, it's so good. I'll have if you wouldn't mind sending me a picture of that.
Sure.
After this, I will be sure to share that on Instagram. For anybody who just listens to the audio, you'll be able to see our little bunnies. That was delightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really.
All right. So as we are wrapping up, are any kind of last thoughts, or it's just things that have come up throughout our conversation, and or for people who might be struggling to enjoy their creative practice, or settle in on a creative practice that makes them feel like proud and satisfied with their creativity, what kind of things would you suggest?
I love that question, because that is something that I have been exploring for myself recently, in like trying to find new creative endeavors or hobbies and getting frustrated at that like starting phase,
Yeah.
especially when I start it and I'm really bad at it. And I'm like, I would wanted to do this to enjoy it and I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And my therapist gave me this thing to think about is that can I like, okay, maybe I'm like really bad at this activity right now. Maybe it's frustrating, it's hard to learn, but like, and I'm not having fun, but can I look at it as, can I allow myself to enjoy the process of learning it? Can I open myself up to possibly enjoying it in the future? Even if I don't enjoy it now, can I allow myself to like lay that foundation to enjoy it more in the future once I kind of like, have a better grasp on it and I'm able to do it like easier, or I, get that container or those enabling constraints set up so I'm able to do the thing. So I think like just having that openness and curiosity of like, how can I enjoy the journey? I fucking hate that too. But I'm also learning that like, oh, this is like my big life lesson is that like it's not about the outcome, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
And
It's
so like
it's a cliche, but it's a pretty true cliche. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And so just being open to the process and opening to the prospect that I can enjoy this one day.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think it's like those oh, actually one of the neurodivergent coaches that I had on here, Kira Sutherland, was talking, well, because I mentioned like ladder thoughts. So like that idea that like maybe I don't enjoy it now, but I want to open myself up to the idea that I can enjoy it someday. And they were like, yes, ladder thoughts, but instead of making it hierarchy, make it lily pad thoughts. So it's like a next one, like a next one you can jump to. But so removing the hierarchy. So I love the lily pad thought that like, if I'm not enjoying it right now, how can I set myself up to enjoy it at a later time while still maintaining my presence and my actions still going in the direction that I want it to. So I love that a lot. Good lily pad thought.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing yourself and your ideas and your systems and your structures with us. Where can people find you? How can they get involved or work with you or support you?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Also, I had that sewing machine back there.
It's my girlfriend's.
Well, so mine is actually my friend's. I've been borrowing it for years, but that's just how things go. But yeah, it's the same one. And ADHD, I couldn't not say it.
You got to say it
out loud. So if anybody wants to check me out online, my website is BrigittMarieEnergyDesign.com. That's what my business is called. I am also on YouTube at BrigittMarie.EnergyDesign. I'm trying to step away from Instagram, so trying to hang out more on YouTube. And I also have a newsletter that you can sign up for on my website. And I have DIY, not DIY, what am I saying? Like do it together. Like I do custom Notion projects with neurodivergent creatives. So we can set you up with either like systems and processes in Notion or specific dashboards and entire workspaces so that you can get the things done that you want to get done. And then I also have ready-made Notion templates as well. And you can find all of that on my website.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Bridget.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, as always, for listening. And as always, keep it ugly. The Ugly Podcast is created by me, Laura Alexander of Scribe and Sunshine. It's produced and sort of edited also by me and written and directed by absolutely no one. Our theme song was written and produced by the amazing Zoe Tronic. If you like the podcast, be sure to rate and leave a review on your preferred platform and share with the creative people in your life. If you're interested in learning more about what I do, head to scribeandsunshine.com to learn more about my ugly art workshops and my editing services. If you haven't yet today, I dare you to make that thing you've been thinking about making but have been too scared it's gonna be terrible. Make it terrible. And as always, keep it ugly.
You can do it. You can go create. Just get to it. I promise you'll feel great.